how to protect your assets and pay for the cost of long-term care. Because the fact is, 80% of us over the age of 65, of Americans over 65, are going to need some form of long-term care. It used to be 70%. I actually recently saw a study that it's more like 80%. And what does long-term care mean? We just mean care that's not going to go away. If you break your leg, you're in the hospital for a couple of days, rehab, that's care, but it's not long-term because you're going to get better, you're going to leave. Long-term care, just as I think about it, is just some form of care. And there's a lot of different categories of it that you're going to need basically for the rest of your life. And maybe you're going to need more and more care over time. Most of us do. Mike and I co-authored a book, Facing the Reality of Long-Term Care, about this. We think about this day and night. There are some government programs that can help pay for the cost of long-term care. There's a big misnomer. A lot of people think that Medicare, which has no asset limit requirements, we all get that as we get older. A lot of people think that Medicare will pay for long-term care. It will not. Medicare will not pay for long-term care. Medi-Cal, the California version of the federal Medicaid program, can help pay for the cost of long-term care. And that's really important to understand those distinctions, because the programs that will help really pay for long-term care generally have asset limits. And what does that mean? It means if you have too much money in the wrong category of assets and savings or investments or rental property, you might not be able to get these really important benefits. Nursing homes, if you need that, can cost we've seen as high as like $20,000 a month per person, but there's certainly over $8,000 or $9,000 no matter where you are. Extraordinarily expensive. So what's an example of how adult kids can be involved in that? Well, in some cases, parents will transfer assets to the kids ahead of time, and we have to be very careful about this to get under asset limits. And the kids can take the money that mom and dad transfer them and set up special needs trusts. They wouldn't do it dollar for dollar. They wouldn't do it right away necessarily, but they could take other assets and put money. Mom and dad make some gifts. Kids set up special needs trusts that are designed to be there to support mom and dad no matter what happens to the kids, but they're trusts that are designed that don't interfere with Medicaid eligibility or government benefits eligibility. So there could be $100,000, $200,000, $300,000, $1 million in a trust the kids create for the parents. There are so many other ways we think about this. Medi-Cal eligibility rules in California are changing. On the surface, it looks like they're getting less and less strict. It looks like January 1st, 2024, we may not even have an asset limit anymore in California. So maybe we won't have to worry about this, but we don't know if that's going to last. I don't know if billionaires should be eligible for Medi-Cal, which is what the new law will technically say. So you need to be aware of this, and I think it's really important ahead of time. Mom and dad and kids need to have sophisticated, durable power of attorney documents in place. And what do I mean by sophisticated? So any core estate plan should have 3 documents: a living trust, power of attorney, durable power of attorney for finances, and advanced healthcare directive for medical decision-making. The power of attorney for finances governs day-to-day finances, but what if you become incapacitated and it makes a lot of sense for some of your assets to be transferred out of your estate to become eligible for government benefits? Your durable power of attorney document needs to explicitly give your kids, or whoever you've named, the power to do that. Your family probably can't do this type of planning if you become incapacitated. So we need to think ahead, and we need to communicate as a family, because this is about saving assets to make sure there's plenty available to take care of mom and dad if they need expensive care in ways that government benefits won't cover it.
I've only been working on this issue for about 50 years. It was 1973 when I created the first free legal aid program for elders in the country here in Santa Clara County. And these are the issues we started dealing with. So, we talk about asset protection. Let's be really clear. The real focus is on quality of care. That's the focus in every plan that we put together. And that's why Mark mentioned the special needs trust. Objectively, if you have a good family situation, trusted family members, asset transfers, becoming eligible for Medi-Cal means you're creating options. It doesn't mean you're necessarily going to use that, but you're creating opportunity. So if utilizing Medi-Cal and getting quality of care works, you do it. If using Medi-Cal and doesn't get you quality of care, if you have alternatives, if there's money there, you don't rely on Medi-Cal. So we're not, money, money, money. It's really quality of care. And most parents think, I really don't want to burn through everything on the cost of a nursing home. I want something to be there for my kids. I mean, that's a consistent theme that parents have for their kids and their grandkids. So, it's complicated, multifaceted, tax issues galore. We pride ourselves on being a step ahead and coming up with the best solution. So, this is multi-generational idea number 6 on steroids.
Kids, you need to talk to your parents about this. Parents, talk to your kids about this. Because when you don't talk about long-term care and what a parent's or grandparents' goals, wishes, dreams, fears are, you're not going to be able to put great care into place. It's so important that we communicate ahead of time, before a crisis, before that Alzheimer's diagnosis, or before dementia gets worse, or before a heart attack. And a good thing to talk about around the holidays, maybe 4th of July, you're having the family barbecue, maybe just talk. It's easy to find us. Gilfix.com, 650-493-8070. Hey, we hope you enjoyed that. Like, comment, share it with someone who could benefit from this. Stay tuned for so much more free legal educational content on the Gilfix Law YouTube channel. Subscribe. Let's be in touch.